Yep.
Just a minute, everybody. Okay. Hey, thanks for being on the lift today, March 3rd, Tuesday. We are going to start like we always do with some good news. Who's got good news to share as we get going here? Jeff.
Big shout out to Savannah on our team for being on the MREA podcast with Jason Abrams this week. So super proud of her and thankful for all she's done for our team to get us organized.
You're reading my notes, Jeff. I was going to, I had a slide for Savannah today. So y'all, Jason Abrams, as you all know, I think, or as most of you know, he runs the #1 podcast in the real estate space. And our very own Savannah Campbell was on it because she is so great at the operations side of the business. I think the title, I can't read it, it's kind of small on my screen, but the growth driven operations framework. And what's even better is that Savannah's here every week and willing to help us on the operations side with transaction management and listing setup. Savannah, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. It was an honor and a lot of fun, and Jason's pretty hilarious. So it was a good time.
He is hilarious. Other good news. Other good news. Are you trying to speak, Leslie?
Yes, I am. I'm unmuted. I'm unmuted now. I just want to give a big shout out of thanks to our whole gang who was together at family reunion. If you weren't there, you missed it because it was really fun. Not only did we learn a whole lot, and I'm going to start to launch social media Mondays. I think it's going to be Mondays at 11, so that we can workshop some of the things that we learned over family reunion and elsewhere. But these people right here that are in this room, and Vicente, your whole crew, Russ for the dinner on Sunday night, and just the whole thing, the community was spot on, and it helped us grow. I would say closer as a team, closer as a group, and if you weren't there, you better be there next year.
Absolutely. Would anybody else who was at family reunion care to share a takeaway or something that was great about the event? Anyone else want to share?
Russ,
Ryan's
I'll
got his hand
share.
up.
One of the things that I took away from it is we have to be clear and concise with our communication. And Donald Miller talked about cognitive load. And and there was another gal at the CEO Summit, I can't recall her name, but also talked about this. And one of the things that was really interesting to me is we have a limited bandwidth of what we can accept in our brain and sort through it. And it's really critical that when we talk to whether it's buyers or sellers or just in our personal relationships, to keep things concise. And they talked a lot about having 3 bullet points. If like, for example, we just hired Nancy to be the DFI. And if I told her, hey, I need you to come and work in this office, and we're busy and we're trying to grow and we're trying to add agents and we're trying to create a luxury brand, and I need you to do admin tasks and run to the bank and go to the post office and pick up the phone, she's going to lose this. But if I say, hey, Nancy, we have 3 objectives in this role. We are trying to grow our market center so we can have more productivity. We need basic administrative tasks taken care of on a daily basis. And we need a warm, friendly smile at the office. What sounds better? So that when we go on our listing presentations, buyer presentations, or otherwise, we have to be clear and concise with our communication. That was a big takeaway.
Well said. Joan.
Yes, I thought Donald Miller was awesome, and thank you for the book, Keller Williams. And we're working on that. I mean, there were several things that I really liked, but I would say Gary V, one of the big speakers, although he's quite colorful with his speech, he hit it home And he had us, those of us that had been in the business for a long time, standing up. I was standing up for every age group, standing a lot. But he said, we're not going to have business in 5 to 7 years if we don't get with the program of doing social media, basically. And he went into a lot of detail and how AI is coming in, but AI is gathering their data from the social media. So if you aren't out there, you're not going to be out there.
Yeah.
And the old friends and all of the old timers, that's still working for me. But it's not going to work forever. And he made that very emphatically, painfully clear.
Joan, you got through that whole testimonial without dropping an F-bomb, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Because I took a lot of notes from Gary V's speech, but one word kept popping up in my note taking. So I don't know. It's easy to spell. Thanks for sharing that. Any other takeaways from family reunion? By the way, we had about 21 people. I see Chance, I think, in the Frisco office. Chance bought us dinner at Morton's Steakhouse, which was really fun. And thank you, Chance. And it was a really great event. Vicente, did you have any takeaways?
Yeah, one takeaway. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Will's going to do one too. Vicente, then Will.
I've got a takeaway for you guys.
Will, then Vicente. Go, Will.
Oh, apologies. To dovetail with what Joan said, something about our social media and the push to do it, something that I found very, very heartening. For those of you who do not like the selfish look at me aspect of social media and promotions, a big takeaway for me was the kind of content that AI and that the future is looking for is evergreen content, which rather than being this is my beautiful listing, this is my open house, which has a very short lifespan, it would be something that is significantly longer lasting. Like, for example, here's where our real estate transfer taxes go. Here's who pays them. Here's how water rights work in Colorado. Here's why you might need a survey. Here are things to consider when you're buying in a resort town, which aren't necessarily about you. They're actually informational. They are valuable. They're things that you are saying and doing anyway, and they will last you a long time. And then along with that, the idea that starting a new channel is going to be more valuable than using an existing channel because the models like new content and they reward you with more viewers, likes, looks, etc. And that you don't need to have 10,000 people subscribing to your channel. You need the 1 or 2 or 5. And so don't be overwhelmed by the whole thing. You can start and do it. And the last piece is you are not too late. It's the next 2 to 4 years. It's the creation of that information today. It's not what you did 5 years ago. And so, again, that was very heartening for me.
Yeah, love it. Vicente.
Yeah. So for mine, this was actually a side event that happened the day before through a Spanish group there at KW. But they went through and really kind of prepped us to say, hey, what are you going to learn at family reunion and how are you going to act on what you're going to learn? And the biggest thing that was like, is it in your vision, right? Like, does it meet within your vision? Everything that you're hearing, you're going to hear a lot. Does that align with your vision? Is it something that turns on that light bulb for you? And then it's like, are you in the position to actually take action upon the thing that you really want to do? And then it was like, does it meet your market? And then they came back and said, make sure you time block to then do all of this, put this all together, and not just have it just be another event you go and, be at and not take action after the fact. So it's really everything we're hearing, right? All these amazing things, but then it's that actionable piece upon that. And yeah, I mean, overall, Gary's vision speech as far as where we see the industry headed and, all of those things. I mean, it just, all the information is awesome to now be able to use with our clients as far as, where do we see, again, similar to the last 2 years, we're not out of it yet, but there does seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel. All those things put together. But yeah, to me, it was that. It's like when we go to these events, and this could be something that we could use to any event held by the region or by our current, market centers. It's like you hear the top approach of all this information, but how do you actually bring it down to an actual item to yours? So
Yeah.
some of
You know, if you spend $4,000 to go to family reunion and you don't do anything as a result of it, it's really sad and really pathetic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to share something. Gary Vaynerchuk said something, and like Joan, I'm going to attempt to say it without any F-bombs because he literally dropped maybe 300 of them. I lost count. But he generally made a statement, and this came to this became super important to me. You know, in my role as a regional director, I have lots of fun conversations. And Holly's been around a long time, and she's been an investor in our region, and so she can probably imagine some of the conversations that I get to have. And one of our OPs, after sitting through the Gary session, not the Gary Keller session, the Gary V section, where he basically said, shut up and go do your job. Don't blame, you all know what I'm talking about. Like, don't blame your circumstances. Don't blame the economy. Don't blame the regional director. Don't blame Gary Keller. Go do your job. I had a meeting on Wednesday with one of our OPs who didn't listen to that part of Gary's speech. And if you were sat in there for an hour, you knew his entire speech was about accountability. And folks, here's what I'm going to say to you. Your success in 2026 is 100% dependent upon you taking action. We're going to give you a lot of tools. We've got a great presentation in a moment with Holly that I can't wait for. But what matters is whether you decide to take action, because you can spend all of 2026 blaming everyone around you, or you can do something about it. And the winners, they do something about it. Okay, moving on. We've got a bunch of upcoming events that I want to quickly draw your attention to. Tomorrow, KW Luxury's monthly training call on Zoom. Check the calendar. Next week, both market centers have live and in-person team meetings right after the lift. There's a lunch and learn. I don't know the topic, on the 11th in the Frisco office. Every Tuesday, productivity coaching with Katie Briggs. Every Wednesday, contracts with Rod. Every Thursday, there's an accountability group. These are live and on Zoom. Couple save the dates. Tomorrow, I will see all of you at Top of the Rockies for the awards breakfast at the Beaver Run Imperial Ballroom. Thursday, Mountain Properties will be at Harvest, the Sullivan Golf Club. Regional awards on Friday. Both market centers are picking up some great awards for that. Hey, we've got the Shift Workshop with James Shaw on the 25th day of this month, and not a lot of us are signed up for it, and I think it's probably because we've been thinking about other things. Don't miss the opportunity to spend a few hours with James talking about how to have a great 2026. Red Day is coming up, second Thursday in May. More details to come on that. And then we have a special event that's going to be happening in our location, probably in Silverthorne. We're trying to get last details on the location, but we're bringing Lauren Lucas, who was on stage multiple times at Family Reunion, and she's going to be doing an AI class for us, just for us. And it's on the day after she does the regional class in Denver. But I thought, you know what, this is such an important topic, and I want you all to come to it. It's no more than an hour drive for anybody. And I want you to bring some friends from other companies who are not getting this level of training. Lauren is an absolute pro. She is going to be doing a tactical workshop. Tactical, you're going to have to come with downloaded AI tools that are free and cheap in order to attend, because we're going to use the tools. And what we don't want to do is spend an hour talking about how to download things, right? We're going to be talking about AI, using AI to lead generate, and using AI to get the listing. So the topics are lead gen, get the listing, and how your life can become more efficient in lead gen and getting the listing through AI. Mark your calendars 10 to 1 on the 12th of June. We've got a luxury event in Denver if you're into that space, April 23rd, save the date. Rocky Mountain Summit, save the date. There's Savannah again. Next week on this channel, we're going to be having MAPS coach Chris Lenquist on AI. Scott Schumann is going to be doing seller seminars on March 17th. The Sue Adler, he's the COO of the Sue Adler team. He runs the team. They were #1 last year out of all of Keller Williams for teams. I saw him get the trophy. You want to be here next week, 2 weeks from now, for Scott Schumann. Katie Briggs, quick tips. Is Katie here? Here she comes.
All right, sorry about that. Hey, just wanted to remind everyone that 20% of our actions deliver 80% of our results. So I want you to find your one thing that is going to drive the most results for you this week and really hyper focus on it. We're going to talk a lot more about this in productivity coaching later today. So dial in if you're interested in checking out what we do. Thanks.
Thanks, Katie. I'm excited that Holly Prescott's here. Holly's, well, you know what, Holly, I'm going to let you do a brief intro for yourself, and you take it away.
I will. Oh, well, thank you, Russ. Wow, a lot of great things going on in the region and in the mountains. Well, first, I know a lot of you, I see a lot of wonderful familiar faces. Savannah, I am so proud of you. I feel somewhat responsible for you because Savannah was in both our Train the Presenter class and Advanced Training Workshop. In fact, a number of you were there, and I'm going to pick on you as we move forward today. But my name is Holly Prescott. I have been with Keller Williams since 1999. I was 10 when I joined Keller Williams. I was a team leader for 12 years. And of course, in that 12 years, I'm very proud to say I was a team leader with Joan Harned back in 2005 to 2007. And I must say, Joan, it was some of the happiest 2 years of my life. And the only reason I left the mountains was because I was given a wonderful opportunity to travel around the country and teach the MREA book with Gary Keller. So anyway, but my heart is still in the mountains. My husband and I, many of you may have met my husband a couple of weeks ago. We still have a condo in Arrowhead, which we love, and we try to come as often as we possibly can. So Vail's very special to us. You know, Ryan, I'm your greatest cheerleader there. Anyway, been around a long time, as Russ said, you know, MAPS coach, Keller Williams Master Faculty. And of course, one of my favorite classes to teach is a class called Train the Presenter, which, Russ, it needs to go on your save to date list, okay? I didn't see it up there. I'm coming in April the 8th and 9th to Denver and teaching a class called Train the Presenter, which hopefully after today's presentation, you will see that this is not just about teaching a class. This is about delivering a great presentation. Because when Russ asked me to speak, he said, well, talk about expireds or this or that or whatever. And I said, well, you know what? I said, quite frankly, how to sell a listing only happens when you get a listing, and you have to have a great presentation to get a listing. So I have brought you some of the great tips from the class Train the Presenter that you can use in your next listing presentation. So let's start. And Ryan, I love what you said. I have 3 objectives today. I'm going to teach you about what we call the 50-50 rule. I'm going to teach you about the what an adult audience wants to see. And then I'm going to introduce you to the KW training lesson plan, which can easily be used for a listing presentation. All right, so let's start out. So I'm going to ask you all a question, and I want you to write down your answer. And then I want to either in the chat or I want to hear it from some of you. I want to hear your answer. So the question I'm going to ask you is, in your last listing presentation, or if for some of you who may have never had a listing before, pretend like you are going into your first listing. In your last listing presentation, what percentage of the time did you talk? And what percentage of the time did you not talk? Write down your answer. And then I want to hear from some of you. Okay, that shouldn't take. Okay, Savannah says 30% you spoke. You spoke, or what are you saying there, Savannah?
30% is how Jeff and I were both in the appointment, but the seller did the majority of the talking.
Okay, good. All right. So 30% I spoke from Rebecca. Okay, I see that. All right. Anybody have any other different answers?
I do, Holly. I spoke too much.
All right. So what percentage, Vicente, would you say you speak?
I'd probably be 60-40.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the honesty. All right. Anyone else want to throw out a number? No, Russ,
I spoke way too much on my last appointment, Holly. Way too much.
All right. Well,
Holly,
yes, love.
I want to share that when I first started, I had my productivity coach recorded me doing a listing presentation, and I didn't even pause to take a breath, let alone have the seller speak at all. It was very eye-opening. So I challenge everybody to try that sometime. Like, put your phone on record and record how you do everything. You can ask them if it's okay. But part of this is so that you can learn for yourself on actually how much you do talk.
What a great idea, Rebecca. So the first concept I want you to understand is when we teach Train the Presenter, we teach that a great class follows what we call the 50-50 rule. 50% lecture, 50% student participation. Now, this is absolutely no different than in a listing presentation. Because at the end of the day, I hope you all know that the person that thinks that the conversation went the best is the person who talks the most, right? So at the end of the day, the only way we can truly build their trust, build their confidence, know that you are really listening to them is to talk less, not more. So I'm proud of those of you who put down 30% because that's probably the ideal number. But in any presentation, follow the 50-50 rule. And I love what Rebecca said. Record yourself and just see how much you are talking. Absolutely. What's it they say? You know, there's what is it? Why am I talking? WMIT, why am I talking? Right? That's one thing to think about. All right. The second thing I want to bring from Train the Presenter is the needs of an adult audience. What do we need when either in the classroom or in a presentation? Okay, write down these five needs of an adult audience. The first need is benefits. They want to know what's in it for me. Why should they give you this time? Why should they give you the opportunity to even take up any of your valuable time? What is it that you're going to bring to the table? And I truly believe that needs to happen early in your presentation. Now, Gary says that this is the time that we share what we call our value proposition. Now, I think a lot of people get confused on what value proposition is. A value proposition is not, it's all about me, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that, all that. Here's how Gary describes value proposition in the Red Book. He says the value proposition He says it's a specific set of services that you will provide. The value proposition lays out in detail what services the buyer or seller will receive. So early on in the presentation, it's about letting them know the benefits that they will get from using you as their real estate agent. Now, the second thing that adult audience want, they want a safe and fun environment. They want to know that going through the home selling process is going to be fun. They want to know that you're excited about listing their house. They don't want it necessarily that you can be honest about the market, you can be honest about things, but you set the stage by showing them that you are there to make this as easy as possible for them, and you are excited about doing it. Now, it says safe and fun environment. What do we mean by safe? Well, let's think about it. You know, not all listings are created equal, right? Aren't there some of those listings we walk in and we go, oh, this is going to be great to sell. It's spotless. It's perfect. It's, you know, been well maintained. I mean, it will be a dream listing. And yet, how many of you have gone into that listing and you go, oh boy, this is going to be a biggie? Anybody had one of those listings? This one is going to take a little bit of time. So the moral of the story is that when you decide you want to take those listings, you've got to help the seller feel safe and not feel like you are looking down on them because maybe their house wasn't done by a designer or maybe their house needs some work. You're encouraging, you're compassionate, you're saying, I'm there to help, I'm there to serve, I'm there to help you get your home in as best shape as possible so that you can get the best possible price. A safe and fun environment. Now, the third thing that adult audience wants is they want variety. And that's kind of what we're saying in the 50-50 rule. What type of variety? Let's hear from some of you. You can put it in the chat or let's hear from you. Because again, I'm trying to follow the 50-50 rule in this presentation. I need to talk 50% and 50% I want to hear from you. So what type of variety could you see happen in a listing presentation? What type of variety? Other than you talking. All right, different strategies to market. All right, what else? What's variety? Other than talking, when you do a listing presentation, what do you do?
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Thank you, Russ. What else? Okay, so we do not show examples. Perfect, Jeff. Thank you very much. What else? Body language. Okay, tell me about body language. What do you mean by body language, Carrie?
Well, I think just, are you presenting yourself open or are you crossing your arms? Are you like, how is your posture? You know, I'm a big hand talker, so I'm always using my hands. Just trying to, and maybe mirror the person that you're with, mirror their body language.
Good, good. All right. Kara says documents. Tell me about how that would be variety in a listing presentation.
Being able to present the documents, maybe maps of the area, talking about location, maybe if there's some obstacles about the property, like wells or something, you might have some documentation that you're already prepared and that you are able to present to them. Because a lot of people like facts and they want to see things.
Okay, good, good. Variety could be things like asking them to fill out certain forms while during the listing presentation. Again, we're not trying to make a 5-hour listing presentation, but we're also wanting them to feel very, very connected to the whole process. So documents could be something very important where maybe you even have them fill out a few of them while you are there, or explain to them how they would be filled out. Backtracking. Brenda, what do you mean by backtracking? Okay, well, Brenda, she must be
Oh, sorry. Hello.
no problem.
So backtracking, I find works well when people say something, you repeat back to them what they said. Oh, I really think my house is worth 300,000. Oh, you think your house is worth 300,000. Well, let's talk about that.
Great, great. Goes right along with asking questions. Awesome. And of course, Joan, the master, says ours is almost all questions to the seller. Good for you. All right. Number 4, the fourth need of an adult audience. Active participation. Active participation in the listing presentation. Sort of goes with what we were just talking about, but active participation. I know there's a lot of different philosophies on whether or not you should let the seller walk with you when you walk through the house, or you should do it yourself to eliminate all the discussion. I am a firm believer that the more opportunity that you have the seller actively participating in this presentation, the better they will feel about you, which is what you're really selling first. You're selling yourself. You're selling there are lots of real estate agents they could choose from, but you're selling yourself. And this is your chance to build rapport. So active participation is letting them share with you the things they love about their house, walking you through the house, walking them, you through that, pointing out the things that were important to them, pointing out the things that they liked, they didn't like, etc. Getting them involved in the whole process of the listing presentation. And then last but not least, number 5, the need of an adult audience is application. They want to be able to, when you walk out the door from that presentation, they want to be able to do something with what they learned from you. They want to be able to do something that will help the sale of their home. Give me an example of a few things that you leave sellers with that they can actually do after you leave a listing presentation.
Clean up this pigsty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What else?
Dakota said declutter. Mike said drive by the comps.
Yeah.
Jeff said checklist to prepare for photo day.
Yep, absolutely. The more involved they get, they want active participation. So keep this in mind, the 5 needs of an adult audience. Benefits, safe and fun environment, variety, active participation, and of course, after you leave, they want to be able to apply something that you shared with them so that their home will get sold sooner. Any ahas, anything that anyone would like to add before I jump into our 3rd objective for today? Any ahas from what we just talked about? Anything anyone would like to add? What have you learned in terms of these things that we're talking about that you can bring to the table and share with everyone?
Hey, Holly, I just think that it's important for everybody to remember to stop talking and to listen. And then the 5 rules for adult learners too, because sometimes we forget that just because people are adults, you still do need to have fun and engagement in a class. And if you don't, then you're in trouble. Right. I mean, taking someone's listing these days is almost like getting married. You're going to be with them for a while, and you've got to make the experience wonderful. I love it. Good. All right. So the last thing I want to bring to your attention, and Russ, I sent this to your assistant. So did everyone either receive it or can we share it in a chat?
It was emailed out and I think it's in the chat. It's in the chat as well. Marielle, can you put it in the chat again? Folks, it was in the chat at 10:36.
Yeah.
And it was also emailed to you a couple
So,
times.
has anyone that is with us today ever been a school teacher? Anyone been a school teacher?
Me?
Oh, Russ? Oh,
yeah.
Look, Allison, is that your name? Allison. All right, so Allison, help me. What did you teach? Tell me about your experience as a school teacher.
I was the head of an early childhood education center, so I have my master's in early childhood. So I was teaching the 5 and unders, the little babies. Yeah.
All right. Well, in that environment, did they ask you or require you to create a lesson plan?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me why someone would ask you to do that.
So that you're structuring your day and also progressing the children in their learning and accounting for all the different learning styles. So you'd have to have a plan, you'd have to have different offshoots of what might happen, especially with the little ones within that plan. And as long as you accomplished one objective for that day in preschool, that's the objective. So just to know where you're going. Otherwise, yeah.
That is so true. So no surprise that when we teach train the presenter, even though we're asking them to do a 10-minute presentation, we are asking them to do a lesson plan. And so wouldn't it make sense that if we're planning on doing a 1 hour or 2 hour presentation to a seller, it might be beneficial to do the same thing for that presentation. So the form that we've sent you and put in the chat, I hope you all will, print it out or use it or use it as an outline, because I'm going to walk through the key elements that we believe make a great presentation. Now, and a lot of them totally reflect what we just talked about with the needs of an adult audience. So the very first thing you see on the lesson plan, and again, Ryan, you are teaching my class for me. The very first thing is objective. Now, I believe in the philosophy of the wise philosopher Jerry Maguire. Everybody remember that movie, Jerry Maguire? He looked at, I think it was Reese Witherspoon, and said, "You had me at hello." See, I believe in a listing presentation, you've got to get them at hello. And there are 3 key things that I think need to come out of your mouth first before anything else if you want to get them at hello. And the very first thing is to explain to them the benefits. The objective. And the objective could be as simple as, by the end of our 45 minutes together, we will have determined the current price of your home, outlined a custom marketing strategy, and decided if we are the right team to get you moved by the summer. You're letting them know right up front the purpose for your visit. Now, the second thing is, as I talked earlier quite a bit about, the benefits of using you, the benefits of using a real estate agent, the benefit of your team, the benefits of what you bring to the table. And then the third thing on that list is the introduction. Now, keep in mind these 3 things, objective, benefits, and introduction, I believe need to come in the beginning of the presentation. The order you put it in is totally up to you. If you want to introduce yourself first, then go into the benefits and objective, that's totally up to you. But there are 2 words that I want you to write down next to introduction. That if you're creating a great introduction, you need to be thinking about your credentials. I call them the 2 C's, credentials and credibility. Now, what I mean by that is credentials. Credentials is, I've sold, 50 homes over the last 12 months for a total of X number of volume or whatever. I mean, credentials are about you, what you've done. And don't be afraid to brag a little bit. If you're a brand new agent, don't be afraid to brag a little bit about what your office has done. Use your market center stats. But use this as an opportunity to tell a little bit about your success. The second C, though, is credibility. And when we define that as the power of inspiring belief, the power of inspiring belief. And this is where you're going to show them your passion for selling their home. You're going to tell them how important the area is to you, how much you, your goal is to, raise the property values of this particular neighborhood. You're going to show them your passion. You're going to show them a reason to believe in you because you believe in what you're doing. So credentials and credibility. Now, it says activity instructions, but really what we're talking about there in the listing presentation are giving them some activities to complete, whether or not it's during the presentation or after you leave, but sharing with them how you want them actively participating in the sale of their home. What can they be doing to help get the home sold? And then, of course, we talked a lot about this, questions. Questions absolutely will get the point across, that you care about what they really need. What are some important questions that you think that, now in the perfect world, you've had a lot of questions answered before you even go to the listing presentation. But in the cases where you walk in and you haven't had that conversation, what are some of the most important questions you should ask when you're on a listing presentation? Let's just throw out a few of them. Joan, you've probably got a ton of them, but give me one or two of your most important. If Joan is even still there.
She's there. She's looking for the mute button. I'll share one while she looks. Are you willing to price your home right, or do you want it to sit on the market for a long time?
Okay.
Would be a question.
All right. What else? What are some real key questions?
Understanding their motivation. So anything about little one is also in the background today. Asking questions, Mabel, 1 second, please, about where they're going next, what's important during the home sale for them.
Right. Exactly. Again, we say that one of the best ways to teach a class is to use questions to teach, because you can get as much information from your students as much as from yourself. Same with a listing presentation. Your goal is to collect information from them, not necessarily just throwing all the information out on them. All right, a relevant story. And I think this is really important. Jesus taught in parables. People love good stories, even stories where you have made mistakes. In fact, I really believe, I tell my trainers, if you want to win their confidence, be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to say to them, I've got to be honest with you, I listed a home in your neighborhood 6 months ago. We started out at this price, and unfortunately it's sitting on the market. I learned that what we've got to do is price it correctly. Be willing to share a relevant story that moves the needle forward. Stories they are worth a million words. And then last but not least, a powerful closing. So many times I see real estate agent goes, okay, well, just let me know when you want to list your house. Give me a call. That's not a powerful closing. A powerful closing is actually taking them back to the beginning, taking them back to the objective. So today, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we determined that the current value of your home will be X number of dollars. We've talked about the marketing strategy. We've talked about what it's going to take to get your home sold within the time frame you want. Are you ready to sign the listing agreement? And don't be attached to the answer. Yes, no, but at least you asked. So I know I'm moving quickly, but I want to honor you all's time. But what we have just covered today is the 50-50 rule, 50% talking, 50% letting them talk, understanding that the person that talks the most feels the conversation went the best. The 5 needs of an adult audience: benefits, a safe and fun environment, variety, active participation, and then their ability to do something after you leave. And now we've shared with you a powerful tool that we use in all Keller Williams training, and that is the lesson plan. So let me open it up now. I've got, what, 2 minutes left? Maybe, I'm not even sure I've got that, but any ahas? Anyone want to share what they've learned from this presentation?
Holly, this is the first time I've seen the lesson plan idea for a listing presentation. I think it makes a ton of sense. And I think that's a really great way to prep.
Well, and Russ, this is why this Train the Presenter class that we're teaching in April is not just for people who want to teach in the classroom. This is called Train the Presenter. And isn't that what we're doing all day long? We're presenting. So absolutely, I encourage anyone to take this class that wants to improve their presentation skills. Maybe it's a presentation to your spouse or your 13-year-old. But the point is, using this can absolutely make a more powerful presentation. Okay. Any other ahas? I want to feel like at least someone got something out of this 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was really great that you asked for the business at the very end.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What else? Give me
There's
one more.
There's a practice called deep listening where you really do need to not assume the next sentence coming out of the individual's mind. Just like handing out a handout at the beginning of class, they'll be looking at that the entire 90 minutes, not listening or communicating with you. So maintain that open channel, open both ears, and you'll hear the stuff that you really need to hear during that presentation.
Great, good. All right. Well, Russ, thank you so much for the opportunity, my dear. A minute over or something like that, but just thank you so much. And I hope to see all of you all in April at Train the Presenter with my wonderful husband and myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. We appreciate your time, folks. The QR code for the Train the Presenter April 8th and 9th is on the screen. It's in Denver. It's at DTC. It's 2 days, 1 day of instruction, a second day of practice and evaluation. I've been in this class with Holly and John, I don't know, 3 times now, 4 times maybe. This will help you become better as a listing agent. It will help you become better as a buyer's agent. It will help you become a better scout leader or committee leader, or it'll help you in all the presentations that you have. So consider investing in yourself and in your business. And if you have questions, just text me. Don't forget that Katie's got coaching today at 1. All you've got to do is go to kwsummitzoom.com and the password is KWTOTR. Thank you, Katie, for hosting this on Zoom. We will see you next week. Next week's topic is AI. And look forward to seeing you all at awards tomorrow and Thursday, depending on the Market Center. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Joan.